welcome to the Sportscast, January 16th, 2019. If you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and iTunes. And if you're listening on iTunes, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. The NFL Championship weekend is among us. The Final Four are here. Probably the best four teams of the NFL season, all season. And to join us, making a comeback after probably having the highest World Cup, actually having the highest rated Sportscast episode, Mr. Jorge Montoya, welcome back.
What's going on, man?
So, George, these Final Four teams, they're pretty, well-deserved. Are you happy with these four teams?
Yeah, of course. Like you said, they're basically probably the top four most consistent teams in the season. And yeah, I mean, the Saints almost lost that last game, but yeah, they made it through. But they didn't play too well. But yeah, I think they're both going to be great games. It's going to be tough to I think either team could win. I don't think there's one clear favorite than the other, but see what happens.
Let's go over what happened last weekend. You mentioned about the Saints barely winning the Eagles. What you think about that game? Was it close? Did the Eagles do enough, or do you think the Saints were just too good?
Well, it was really the beginning of the game. The Saints basically gave the ball away, and they escaped, interception. They just started off really slow. That's not really at home. It's kind of doesn't really happen often. Surprisingly, I guess they were just that bye week kind of got a little rusty to start off the game. But then they adjusted. I think the coach Sean Payton did that fourth down call was great. He just played the game. The play calls very aggressively, and it worked out for them. They adjusted and they started improving every quarter, and the Eagles really couldn't hold on. Even though in the end they had a chance after that missed field goal by the kicker for the Saints, and unfortunately it went right through Jeffrey's hands, and it was an interception. So it was kind of unfortunate, but you gotta hold on.
What do you think about Nick Foles? Do you think Nick Foles is a playoff quarterback? Do you think he should stay in Philadelphia, or maybe the Eagles are just focused on Carson Wentz for the future?
It's a tough decision. I mean, they're both good quarterbacks. Obviously, Carson Wentz is a younger, probably more explosive quarterback. I think what I heard, the rumors were that they're going to trade Foles or let him go. I think they're going to trade him. I don't know his contract information right now, but I know that I don't think they're going to keep both. But Foles is one of those players that he gets better after every game. And in the beginning he might be a little rusty, he might put some interceptions, stuff like that, but he's shown he can handle big games, big moments, and I think it's a good problem to have when you have two great quarterbacks like that. I would trade Foles for something like a draft pick or two.
Yeah, there's obviously a few teams that need quarterbacks. Maybe need a short fix because the NFL draft, this upcoming one, there's only two good quarterbacks that are potentially starters. Teams like the Dolphins, they need a short fix, because the 2020 draft, there'll be more quarterbacks available. Obviously, we don't want to, touch on the Broncos or the Dolphins yet, but let's look at the Patriots and Chargers. Was this game over before it started?
It seemed like that. I mean, it was domination, man. I expected, the Patriots to probably pull it off, but I didn't think it would be that easy for them. I think, it's funny, Tony Romo, he was a great commentator. He knows the game about it. He kept saying it even from the beginning that teams really don't do well against Brady when they play zone defense. And they were doing that, and Brady knew exactly how to pick apart that defense, and play calls that Belichick was giving out. It was just great. I mean, they're doing like screens, they're doing like those short passes, then they would run the ball, do some crazy runs, and then they'll just bomb it deep to Edelman. So like they were playing perfectly really against that defense, and the coaching staff of the Chargers really did not adjust at all. That's the problem. You could tell that they were just still trying to stick to what they were they wanted to do, even though they were losing by 20-something points, you know. So, yeah, man, Patriots are hard to beat, man. When their coaching staff is really, really good, top notch, and that's what makes them so good.
Phil Rivers is 0-8, maybe 0-9 with against Tom Brady and the Patriots. Do you think this was Rivers' last chance to maybe go to the Super Bowl?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, you see Brady at 40 or 41, whatever how old he is now. Rivers at 37. I mean, Rivers does not seem like he's slowing down. So, I mean, Rivers is a great quarterback. I think he's really underrated. I'm pretty sure he's a Hall of Fame player, and you know, he played well. I mean, overall, it's just that this is a defensive scheme they were doing. They were down by so much, and they kept blitzing on the third down. They couldn't stop it. Which the Patriots kept doing the same thing again and again, and they weren't adjusting. So, like, it was tough for him to pull it out, but I don't think he played a bad game at all. I think he has a young core around him, and I think that they'll have a chance, man. I don't think they'll have a chance the next couple of years to continue to do well. That's what I think. So
yeah, Antonio Gates will be back next year. I think he's 37, 39, somewhere in his late 30s. So we'll see. Melvin Gordon, you know, has a lot of potential. So we'll see what happens. I think they got a little bit screwed with the seeding. I think losing some games, they could have, you know, had some home field advantage, but hypotheticals is always a issue. Cowboys and Rams. The Cowboys defense looked pretty tired going up against the Rams.
Well, their run defense is just pretty awful. I mean, C.J. Anderson was ripping them apart. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to, you know, say bad things about C.J. Anderson. I think he's playing well. He looks like he was fresh after, you know, being traded and stuff like that. But I mean, C.J. Anderson is still not like a great running back. So him doing all that, I mean, the old line for the Rams is really, really good. I think it's really underrated. But the Cowboys' strength in defense is the linebackers in the middle, and you know, they just couldn't stop them. And I mean, I knew the Rams were going to win. I mean, I picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl before the year started. That was my pick. I was surprised that KC is that good. So I mean, that's the only team that kind of caught me off guard. I didn't think Mahomes would be that great of a player. But yeah, man, the Rams are really tough to beat. But I think the Saints are going to have a tough day.
Were you surprised with the performance from C.J. Anderson?
I mean, I was. I mean, I didn't think the Cowboys will be easy to run against like that. But C.J. Anderson has shown, you know, I guess he had a chip on his shoulder because he got released from, like, a couple teams, I think.
Two teams, by the Panthers and someone else.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's fresh. And like I said, there's not that much pressure when you're fluent enough from somebody else. And Todd Gurley wasn't 100%. He was just trying to get back on his feet. And they did a nice 1-2 punch, you know. And, yeah, I mean, I don't think he's a bad player. Obviously, if he was terrible, he wouldn't be in the team. But, you know, he's something that I really love. He stepped up when he needed to. And there's other reps to ask for, you know.
Do you think, DeMarcus Lawrence before the game says he wants to take the quarterback's soul, referring to Jared Goff. Never happened.
Yeah, it was funny. That was a funny thing. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's what you want as a defensive player, to go after the quarterback and, you know, just rough them up all game. But, yeah, it didn't really happen. The Rams' O-line is really well since they have that great running game. It's hard for them to constantly blitz against the run. Now, it's kind of like with the Chargers and the Patriots. Like, you never saw, like, the Chargers kind of blitz in certain spots, only a couple times, you know. They weren't putting any pressure on Brady, and when you give Brady that much time to throw the ball, I mean, it's going to be a long, long game. You have to play press and man coverage against the Patriots, and that will be probably harder to defend against with some blitzing in there, you know?
Yeah. What do you think the Cowboys need? What pieces do they need to have a complete team?
I mean, the heart and soul of the team is Zeke and the running game. So that's good. They did improve on their wide receivers, right? Like Roy Cooper has been a great trade that no one really saw coming. So I mean, they're improving in that area. I think they still need another weapon in there, maybe a better tight end or just another receiver in the draft. But obviously, just build on their defense. That's really the key. Build on their defense. Probably get a couple more guys in their back end. I think the linebackers are pretty good. They don't need really linebackers. They're strength of the linebackers, and they need some D-line and safety help, maybe, you know, some cornerbacks. So they need more in the back end.
And obviously, the first game of the weekend was the Chiefs beating the Colts 31-13. Like you were saying, Mahomes were passing balls with his eyes closed.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, man, I've never been so surprised for a player in such a long time. I think Mahomes. I mean, I think to myself, like, there's just no way a guy can continue to play if it's good. You know, like, it's just, I mean, I don't watch college. That's why maybe I was surprised. I mean, I saw a little bit of a documentary about him, and man, he's been doing that since high school, man. This guy's been playing that way, like, just running, like, out of the pocket and just throwing across the field. Like, I've never seen a quarterback that could being chased down, and then he could throw it across the entire field and have the arm accuracy to actually land that throw. And he's explosive, man. I think with those weapons around him, like, it's just so hard to beat him. They have that, they have such a great team around him. So the Patriots are going to have a very tough time to beat him, but I don't think it's impossible. But it's going to be probably a shootout, I think.
Now back to now into Bronco news. They hired Vic Fangio as head coach. Are you happy with that decision?
And I'm happy with anyone better than what we had. So I think, we'll see. Like I said, being a coach in the NFL is not an easy thing. And like I was telling you earlier, like, a lot of people are, after Tomlin's head, and I'm like, man, he hasn't had a losing season all year. Maybe he's not a 12-4 team, or he's not coaching it that well, but you got to understand, and the team is up a lot of ups and downs. And to be a coach, you have to give them. I would always assume give the team. You have to give a coach like at least 3 to 4 years for him to see what he could do. I mean, and to turn it around in 1 or 2 years is kind of tough. So yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. Like I said, I think our issue obviously is to get a really good quarterback. That's what we need. So see what happens.
Would you take Nick Foles?
No, of course. I mean, I wanted him as a prospect, like, before we signed Case Keenum. I even wanted Kirk Cousins probably better, but his contract was kind of expensive. So I don't know. At this point, I think we're just gonna wait for the draft in a couple of years. I want that Trevor Lawrence, but we have to lose a lot of games to try to get a chance out of, or give up like a ton of draft picks to get that guy. I really like that Trevor Lawrence kid.
We were seeing the return of Gary Kubiak, slowly. He was a consultant for the Broncos, and I think they were going to offer him an offensive coordinator position, but then he decided at the end to go with the Vikings. He had a heart condition a few years ago, was a head coach for the Broncos. Do you miss Kubiak, or do you think just kind of time to move on?
No, Kubiak is always a solid coach. I mean, obviously, it's a stressful job, and that's why he had those health issues. But so wait, I didn't hear. So he went to Minnesota?
Yes, he will be the offensive. He'll be part of the offensive coaching staff at the Vikings.
But he's not the play caller, is he?
He's not the play caller. I think he's playing a consultant role.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's getting more lighter for them to do better in. Yeah. I mean, he's a great coach, man. I think he's. He helped us get a Super Bowl, right, that year. So he was part of that coaching staff. I'm pretty sure he was, right, when we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was the guy with Peyton Manning. He won it.
Yeah. So I mean, he has experience on his belt, and he's good wherever he goes. I mean, it's hard to replace guys, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I mean, as a general manager of the team or owner, I mean, you can't get too reckless when you hire, and you also can't be so impatient. You got to give people time, and you got to, So, but I think the issue is really, like you said, like the hiring process. I don't know really what that is. I mean, any guy who's going to step up for interview, he's going to tell you all these things, like politics, right? They're going to promise you all these things for your team, I want to win the Super Bowl and all that stuff. I mean, most important thing, look, I want to draft well, and I want to improve in these areas as a team, as a roster, and then I want to win a division. Like, it doesn't matter about anything else. You've seen how the Patriots have dominated the AFC East division for the last 10 years. They've won, all 10 years. So the Dolphins have never have a chance to make the playoffs unless they go to the wild card. You know what I mean? So that's what you need to do first. Beat your division, and then you can think about everything else. Yeah,
I agree. If you go through the interview process, look, tell me what's your 5-year plan. What do you see the errors? What do you see the holes? What the flaws are? What are you going to do to flip things around? Who do you know? What staff are you going to bring? Want to know this. You're right.
Yeah, I'm sure they talk about these things, man. But I mean, sometimes I think about some of the contracts that they give them. It's like a 5-6 year contract. It's like it's a little too much. I think you got to give them maybe 3 years tops and see what happens.
Do the Adam Gase plan.
Well, I don't know. Didn't he have a larger contract?
I think Adam Gase had probably a year or two left in this contract, but the Dolphins wanted a clean house quicker.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I personally think that they got rid of him too quick. But like I said, they're not. I mean, the Dolphins are always been a mediocre team. They always underachieve in like most aspects. So I mean, it's frustrating. But I mean, I heard the last thing I heard was they're going to get that coach from the Patriots, but
yeah, Brian Flores.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. Obviously, they can't speak to him yet until the playoffs are done. When the Pats are out of the playoffs or they win it all. So either they win it all. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of people assume just because they're from New England, okay, they're going to just plug them in and automatically be winners. That's not the case. I mean, maybe the best thing to have a Patriots coach to get more information about the team. Because they play them twice a year. But that's basically it.
Which Brian Flores is a linebackers coach.
Yeah, actually, the little that I know about him was he actually started as a scout, just a regular scout for the Patriots, and then he moved up to like lead scout, and then he just kept moving up, like defensive back coach, linebackers coach. So he's hired a biggest role now, and I guess he's done really well, obviously. But it's hard for me to know, man. Like the Patriots is all about Bill Belichick, and the way they run their staff. So all those guys, I'm not putting blame on them at all. They're not horrible, but it's just like, come on. They're not. It's not like they're not doing it because they're in the system. That's why they're so good. So like out of the system, they go to a new team. They're going to have that same discipline, that same mentality that the Patriots have. So you're trying to bring that to your team, but it's not easier said than done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like you were saying, Belichick is the core of the Patriots. So we don't know what Brian Flores is by himself. What obviously he does. He has learned from the philosophy of Belichick, but, is he good enough alone as a head coach? It's a big, huge step up from a linebackers coach, that I can tell you. And I know the Dolphins have been experimenting with different type of coaches. One of my friends was saying, they just hire a head coach experienced person. But we'll see what happens. Maybe Brian Flores might trick us. Here from the coaches so far have been hired. The Buccaneers hired Brian Arians. The Packers hired Matt LaFleur. The Arizona Cardinals hired Cliff Kingsbury. The Browns got Freddie Kitchens. The Jets got Adam Gase, and Broncos had Vic Fangio. From these teams, who do you think had the better end of the deal?
Well, come on, I'm biased, but I hope the Denver did. But I don't really know, man. Like I said, Adam Gase, the Jets team, that's pretty interesting. That's the only guys I know. I'm not really a big head coaching, I don't know it all, I just know the guys that have been there, been around for their teams in a while. But yeah, man, like I said, it's this new team, so it's harder to know how they're going to do.
Yeah. You think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should keep James Winston?
Yeah. It's I don't even know. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's just such a. He has talent. He has a lot of talent. But like I said, his off the field issues, his leadership. Is he a guy that you see? You're going to mold your whole team around, into the future? Is he going to be a staple of your organization? I don't really think so. But I mean, who else do you have? Because Patrick is just, come on, he's an older guy. He's not really going to. He's going to be like really great one game, and the next game he'll be really, really terrible. So yeah, I mean, obviously you want to have Winston there, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think he's going to be fighting for his job every time. And the thing about the Bucks was that was interesting this past year was that, as soon as one of them did bad, they just benched them and started another guy. They kept going back and forth,
I know.
It's like, it's hard to get momentum. It's hard to have confidence in yourself or in your leader and your team when every other week you don't even know who's going to start for your team. So that's the whole point. Like, I mean, hey, if you want to keep doing that, then go ahead. I mean, there's going to be another year for that. But, I mean, eventually, if you can't trust the one guy to lead your whole team for the whole year, then you might have to start looking elsewhere, right?
Yeah, I agree. And, you gotta have consistency in the NFL. Not too many teams have that, except the Patriots. Gosh, we're singing a lot of their praises this show, but, it is what it is. I mean, they've proven it. And, to be honest, Belichick, it feels like, I mean, he hasn't had the same assistants in the past 20 years. It's been different.
Yeah, like I said, it's all Bill Belichick. He's the glue of that team, and then Tom Brady is just there to ride along. I'm not saying that Brady's not great. He is. But I don't think he'll be anywhere as good if he was by himself. I mean, if he was like in the Dolphins, for example, he was in the 49ers or another team, I mean, he's not going to have 4 or 5 Super Bowl wins. How many he has already lost count. Like, he's not going to have that. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen because Bill Belichick doesn't he expects a lot from his players, and if you don't perform and if you don't at least follow the team's code of conduct, you're out. You're going to get benched. You're going to get traded. He doesn't care how, So I think, and you can tell, man, that guy does not sleep, man. That guy dreams and sleeps and eats football. I mean, that guy feels like he's just always constantly a step ahead of you, if not 2 or 3. Like, just so hard to counter someone that's just that good. But like I said, I told my friend, he's a huge Patriots fan. I've never been a Patriots fan per se. I mean, I do respect them, but I don't like them because they win so much. It's kind of annoying. But I said, man, if the Patriots win the Super Bowl this year and they beat out, KC, the Rams or the Saints to win it all, man, Brady is going to be, and Brady and Belichick together, you can't pick one or the other, both of them, right? I think they're both going to be the greatest of all time, hands down. I don't think you could argue that. I mean, I could argue right now Brady's probably top 3 of all time, or Belichick is probably top 2 of all time, or 3, whatever. But after they win against these powerhouse teams, when they have more time than they do, and they still outplay you and outbeat you and outplay call you and all that stuff, and they win it all this year, I mean, you just got to say, you got to give it to them,
What do you think about the situation with the Steelers and Antonio Brown? Do you think Antonio Brown's going to leave, and where should he go?
I'll be surprised if he sticks it out in the team. I don't think so. I think Antonio Brown he's a big, very egotistical player, and he's more of a drama queen. I'm not saying he's a great player, but by no means. But once he feels like the team doesn't respect him, or they don't really respect his deserves, or or he's like threatened by Juju, you know what I mean, and all that stuff. He's kind of going. I feel like he's selfish. Obviously, he's a very selfish player, and that's why he has the success that he does. He expects the ball every time. He's hard on himself. He trains well. He's a good player, but he's selfish. I mean, that's what he is. So anywhere he goes is going to be good. Obviously, he's going to give him the ball, but I mean, I'm going to be laughing when he joins a bad team and they don't have Big Ben to throw to him, and their play calls are horrible, and he's triple coverage because they have nobody else to cover. You know what I mean? So he's going to regret leaving, but I think he'll be gone. I think they'll trade him for maybe a draft pick or 2, or a player, draft picks, whatever. I think that he'll be traded. But we'll see what happens, right?
We'll see what happens. I think the Steelers are in a little bit disarray with Bell and now Antonio Brown. We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, I think it's the end of an era. I think it's going to go downhill for them. Obviously, Big Ben is, he's towards the end of his career as well, so they're going to have to be rebuilding very soon. And that's what I'm saying. Like, don't expect the Pittsburgh to be really good, in the next several years. They might be struggling to even have a chance to beat the Browns, every year. Like, I think you see the downside, going downhill for the Steelers, and then you have, the Browns are peaking, So that's going to happen, but it's part of the game, and you can't also for Tomlin, you can't expect him to pull out 12 wins a year, with the loss that you're going to have. So be patient, and and just it's a process, really.
Are the Browns the team of the future?
I mean, like I said, obviously the future is way more looks really well compared to what there used to be. Where there used to be a joke. The draft picks actually hit, even though it's funny to me saying I didn't expect them to draft both guys that they did, Mayfield and Ward. I think the safest was Barkley and Chubb. I think those were the easier picks to go with, but they ended up going the more like different route. But they both worked out for them. And Ward has stepped up for the team. Mayfield has actually gotten better and better every year. So, I mean, not every year, but better and better every game. So yeah, they have a great future, man. I think they just have to keep improving the little areas and get more young talent in there, and they're going to have a nice core for the future.
They exceeded your predictions. You thought they were going to have 6 wins, but they turned out to have 7.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, I think they'll have about 6, maybe 8 if they do really well. But I mean, they could have won 8 easily. I mean, they could have won 9. You know, I mean, they had some really close games that they just kind of fell apart. That game against the Steelers early on, that tie, that was just crazy. They could have won that so easily. I mean, they could have won that so easily and just choked, like, and then the Steelers had a chance to win and they choked as well. I'm like, what's going on here? Like,
you think
that doesn't happen in New England. You know, that never happens in New England. Like, that's the thing.
And if Baker would have started earlier, because I think he became a starter from the midseason.
You know what's funny? Like, everyone knew there's no way Mayfield's not going to play. But, you know, coaching staff, they wanted to be like, they didn't want to get backlash off the bat. They wanted to, you know what, they signed this quarterback. Because they signed Taylor, right? What was his name again?
They signed Tyrod Taylor from the Bills, yeah.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor. They signed him before the year started, or was he already there? I don't remember.
They signed him at the beginning of the season, yeah.
Exactly. So that, for me, was a mistake, obviously. Why would you sign a quarterback when you know you're going to draft Mayfield? Because they have number 1 overall. And you're going to draft him, at least one of the quarterbacks. Why would you draft a new quarterback like that? You know what I mean? Like,
well, they were going to use Tyrod for like a transitional quarterback, you know, be there for a season or 2 so, you know, you could groom up Mayfield. Yeah. So,
yeah, but I mean, it's tough. The number 1 overall pick, I mean, you expect them to get on the field pretty quick, especially when your team is not that good. Because, I mean, you're going to be losing games anyway. Like, just put them out there. I mean, I don't know, but I ain't gonna lie, man. I didn't think Mayfield would be as good as he is. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought he was going to be a lot more worse. But you know what? Hey, cruising along, you know, and just like the several teams, you know what I mean. But no, that's part of the game, you know. Some are just better than others in the pros. Some just can't do it, you know. So we'll see what happens.
There's a lot of parity in the NFL. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Anyways, anything else before game predictions?
Not really, man. Let's get to it.
We covered everything. We covered the Broncos, the Browns, even the Jets. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, championship weekend. First game on Sunday, the Rams at the New Orleans Saints. What's going to happen?
I think the Rams should win. And we were going to be like crazy. I think they're going to win pretty easily. I mean, obviously they lost against the Saints the first time, but I don't know. The Saints don't seem as tuned in as the Rams. I think the Rams are hungry. I think the Rams learned from their mistakes from the first game. And I don't know, man. They have a lot of confidence when their team. Todd Gurley looks like he's getting healthier and healthier. They're back. I'll pick them all day. You know, that's the thing with the Rams. The Rams will not make the same mistake the Eagles did. For example, as if they're ahead by 2 touchdowns or so early on, they're just going to run the ball and pound the ball with Gurley. You know, and it's going to be very hard to stop them because they're going to be running the ball and controlling the game, the time clock, and then they're going to have the defense just rushing you because you're going to be behind and have to throw the ball. So you're going to have Donald and Sue and all these guys going after you. So, I mean, that's a work in their progress. I think if the Saints are getting an early lead, that might change a little bit, get closer. But the Rams are in a quick 14, 17-point lead. I mean, it's going to be a very long day for the Saints.
The Rams beat the Saints, according to George Montoya. Finally, the New England Patriots at the Kansas City Chiefs for the AFC Championship.
This is the hard one, man. This is the one where... Obviously, in my mind, I'm like, okay, the KC should win because they have more talent and they're more explosive, stuff like that. But come on, man. I mean, it is the Patriots, dude. I mean, every year you're like, all right, this year they just can't be that good. And then they just prove it wrong and they destroy the Chargers. I mean, it wasn't like it was a close game. Like that's what I was looking for. I was like, okay, let me look at the Chargers. I want to see, the game flow, how they play call and how they play against them. And they actually did way better than I expected from them to do, And but in the end, I think, man, it's really close. It's hard to call it really, man. But I mean, my mind says KC, but my heart is saying Patriots are going to just. I don't even know. Can you even say that? Who the upset? I mean, is that even a thing? I don't even know who's the favorite, really. I don't even look at the Vegas odds. Who's the favorite in that game?
I don't know.
KC maybe.
Let me double check.
Maybe.
Let me check.
The home team usually has the advantage. Right? The home team usually has the edge.
They say the Patriots are the underdog.
Yeah, by how much?
Let me see here.
By how much?
Which is rare. By -3.
3 points. What about the Rams and the other team?
Let's see. Rams. Excuse me, guys. Let's see. VegasInsider.com. No, we will beat your report. It'll tell us. Battle, AFC Championship, Vegas odds. No, give me that. Okay, they got the Rams by plus 155. Saints negative 3.5.
Yeah, so they're 3.5 favorites, and then the DC is 3-point favorites. Yeah. Like I said, the Rams should be the favorites. I think they're just a more complete team, even though Saints are a great team too, man. Don't get me wrong, but the Rams are just more complete, man. That running game, they can throw the ball on you. They have a solid pass rush. You know what I mean? Their defense getting a little bit better. So I think the Rams are pretty clear that they should be able to win the game. But Patriots and KC is a 3-point swing. I mean, one interception here, one fumble here. Because it's going to come down to turnovers. It's going to come down to which team makes the least amount of errors, because they're both going to score points at will. It's just who's going to pull that clutch stop in their defense. And, Mahomes is such a great player. I mean, Brady and Belichick, I don't know if you saw last game of the Chargers, but you saw that they didn't even use Gronk. Like, Gronk was I think he caught like one catch, like 25 yards, maybe two catches, if the whole game. But like the first half of the game, they were just blocking. Like, they were just running down the Chargers' throat. I mean, he was just destroying people and blocking. I mean, they didn't even need Gronk to beat. You know what I mean? They just used him as the blocking tight end.
And it could have been Gronk's last home game.
True, man. I don't know. I don't really think so. I mean, he made it clear that he didn't want to play for anyone but Brady. Obviously, who wouldn't say that, right? He's like, I don't want to go on another team and not be part of it. You know what I mean? But I think he'll stick around. I mean, obviously, I don't think he'll have a long career like Tony Gates or anything like that because of his injuries. But I don't see. I think he retires when Brady retires, and I think in maybe a couple of years or so. Which you always say that Brady will be done in a couple of years, but then every year it seems like he's going to play longer and longer, right?
Yeah, and Gronk is only 29, but obviously he is a beat up Gronk as well. Yeah,
man, he took a beating in his body, man. I mean, like I said, he's a very physical player. So even when he gets the ball and he just trying to run right over you, and he blocks, he goes all out when he blocks. And that's the thing. You see that effort. I was surprised, to see him, this last game, just blocking his tail off. I mean, he was really, really in there. And that effort that you see from guys, they don't see that. Like, even when it comes to running backs, like all these other great running backs, I mean, like Zeke is a really good blocker. So I like Zeke as the best running back in the league. But I mean, it's the other guys are right behind him, Gurley and Barkley, all these other guys. But like, it's a little thing that separate you from like being really good to like great, and Gronk has that effort. He has that mentality that he's going to go there and really go in and beat you, any way he can.
So you got the Kansas City Chiefs to beat to win this one.
And yeah, I mean, man, like I said, I'm not surprised if the Patriots beat them. But if they do, it's going to be a very close game. Either way, it's going to be a close game. I mean, Vegas predicts it to be a 3-point swing. I think whoever wins might win it by more, but I don't think it'll be more than like 10, 13 points or so. But I don't know. I mean, man, I don't really know what to say, man. It's really hard to predict that game because
it's a toss-up.
Because the last game they played together, right? The Patriots won in the end, right?
Yeah, by 3 points. Patriots won by 3 points at Kansas City.
Yeah, and it was like a shootout. It was like a 40. It was like crazy amount of points.
Correct.
It was like, yeah. Like, I mean, you see a very similar game, but here's the thing. Here's what I think is going to happen. Here's the thing. The Patriots, if you see the Patriots come down and they win the game pretty easily, or not pretty easily, or they win by like over 10 points or something like that, then all that really tells you is that the coaching staff is superior than any coaching staff in the league, and they adjusted better than the other team did, because if the Patriots really won with that, remember, Mahomes was early back in that was early in the year, right? So Mahomes didn't really have enough tape on him yet. They weren't sure how certain things about the team. But now they've seen a lot. So you best believe the Patriots are going to be ready for this game. They're going to be gritty. They're going to be very hard to beat. But like I said, KC, I've never seen a team so explosive offensively. That's the thing. So even if the Patriots defense is better than the KC's defense, right? Even if that's the case, the KC, Mahomes and with what's his name, Tyreek Hill and Kelsey, they don't have time. So there are
also Sammy Watkins too.
I mean, like I said, you know what? I'll say Patriots. I don't want to say Patriots now. I think about it more and more. They don't have Hunt anymore. That's a downgrade. And they're going to be more ready for them because they have more tape on them. They're going to have, more experience playing them. And I think, I want to give it to the Patriots just because of their experience and just because of the pedigree that they have. But it is at KC. I think that if they're playing at New England, you could say hands down, Patriots are their favorites are going to win. Just because they're at KC, that's what gives them hope. So I think if it was at New England, I don't think they win. But just because they're at home, they have a better chance than home to pull out the game.
But interesting stat: the Patriots have never gone to the Super Bowl without home field advantage.
Really, that's a good stat to have.
Except the first time they went.
Wow, I didn't know that, man.
Wow.
That's yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't know, man. Like I said, if KC wins by 20 points, would you be surprised?
I'll be surprised.
I guess a little bit, right?
It's going to be 40.
What do you think?
I think either team will win by field goal or by score.
Okay.
Easy.
That makes sense.
Okay, it's going to come down, but it's going to come down to experience. I think Kansas City could choke in this game. Still lose by 3. But I still think Belichick has this thing wired. Because, this game kind of reminds me of the Patriots going to the Broncos a couple of years ago where the Patriots couldn't do it. So this could be very similar.
That was back when they won the Super Bowl?
When the Broncos won the Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, but see, the way that you beat Brady is by having a very, very, very good defense.
Good defense, and Kansas City doesn't have that.
They have a great pass rush, and they have a great man-to-man coverage. Like, remember, the Broncos, man, in their prime, those back-to-back years, man, they had an incredible defense. They had the top best 5 cornerbacks in the league. They had a great pass rush. They had great coaching. They had a decent offense as well with Peyton Manning and all the receivers. So they had a complete team. So you need a complete team. KC had, well, don't get me wrong, KC has an incredible D-line. Their D-line is really, really dominant, but their back end is not that good. They don't have like Ed Reed or Polamalu. They don't have one of those safeties that could blitz really well, that could coverage really well, that could make some good hits. They don't have that, right? They do have that guy. I don't know. Has he been hurt or not? I don't know. I haven't heard much from him. The guy that had a cancer and he came back. I forgot his name. The safety from the Chiefs. He's really, really good. I don't think he's been playing, has he? Or he was hurt? I don't even know that.
Let me double check his name. Eric Berry?
Yes. Did he play last game?
Eric Berry is. I think he ended his season in 2000. No, he's still playing. I don't know if he's played last week.
Yeah, because I know he's been kind of banged up, and he is the heart and soul of that defense.
I don't think he's played this season. I think last time was last year.
Yeah, I think he's been hurt or something. So yeah, they need a guy like that, to have a good chance. But I don't know, man. There should be we'll see, man. Because you saw what happened to the Atlanta Falcons, man, in the Super Bowl, man. The Patriots came back and won. Like, you just can't count them out. And as much as you say, okay, obviously, if you look at talent alone and home field advantage, KC should win that game 9 out of 10 times, right?
Yeah.
But it's the Patriots. I think it's more. I really think that it'd be like if you play 10 times. I think one team wins 5, the other team wins 5. I think maybe one team wins 6, the other team wins 4. Either way, it goes either way. I think that's how close they are.
But who has a better defense, the Patriots or the Chiefs?
All right, so I think obviously the D-line, the Chiefs have the best D-line compared to out of both teams. But I think when it comes to linebackers and defensive backs, a complete overall team, I think the Patriots are more complete. They're more disciplined. They don't allow big plays, and when they get down to the red zone, they do a really good job at allowing you to only get field goals for the most part.
They got Brian Flores.
Yeah, so the Patriots defense, I think overall is slightly better. But I don't think and actually their weakness was their back end, their D-backs, safeties, but they've been playing a lot better actually. So I think the edge there is the Patriots slightly. But I mean the D-line this is the thing, man. Like the Chiefs are just so explosive that I think if they had Hunt, they're pretty much lock. I'm not saying the Williams guy that's playing for them actually did. He was playing really well. He used to play for the Dolphins, right?
He did, yeah.
Williams,
correct.
And you see them. They lead the Dolphins. And they do look much better. Like that always happens, right? It just makes no sense. They lead the Dolphins is like
the wide receiver that went to the Browns. He's doing pretty well.
But yeah, and Landry was always been a really good player. It just makes no sense for him to trade him. That's just so stupid. And they got Frank Gore and they got Mendola. They got these two guys that are over like 32 years old each, like 33. Another guy's like 36 or something. Like it just makes no sense at all.
We're becoming like the Raiders.
I don't know, man. I mean, the Raiders. I mean, it's understandable. I don't really know what happened. What happened with that guy? I mean, why did they get rid of him? That was stupid. They got a lot from him, but yeah, I don't really.
He was asking for too much money. He was asking for quarterback money, pretty much. And the coach said, "No, we're not going to do that. We're trading you."
Yeah, because the coach is. I think what it was is that Gruden, he's a very strong character, so he's like, "Oh, this is my new team now. I call the shots now. I don't care what you should be before. You come here, you got to prove yourself to me." Something like that. I guess they had conflicts between the coach and him.
I like that.
He got rid of him, but in the end, though, like I said, that's what happened with the Raiders, man. They gave him 10-year contract, even though I think what I heard was that he was willing not to get paid the whole way if they do bad, which they already started to do bad. But I think that's the risk you take when you bring a coach in there, and then he wants to clean house. Then
that's
be
what
it, right?
you do. Yeah, you get Cooper, and it's funny because Gruden's very similar to Belichick. He's the guy that sleeps at the office all week and just watch football film and things like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, and so your final answer is the Patriots.
Now that I think about it, I'll say Patriots, Rams, Super Bowl.
Patriots and the Rams for the Super Bowl. That's George's pick. And for random question of the day, what is your favorite McDonald's sandwich?
I don't really anything else I should tell you the truth. I mean, I'm more of a chicken guy, so I'll probably pick the chicken sandwich. What is it called? The BLT or something?
My chicken sandwich?
No, not the regular one, but like the one with like the bacon and the ranch. Whatever it's called, BLT or something like that. I mean, a Big Mac, obviously everyone says, I like the sauce, but I mean, I don't know, man, those patties are too small to me, man. I want some bigger patties than that.
It's funny, like one guy said, like the Big Mac is pretty much bread.
Exactly, man. It's like, it feels like you have more bread than anything. I mean, like, I want to feel like I'm eating a big patty. Like, it's not a Big Mac when the patties are tiny. The sauce is amazing. I love the sauce.
You know, like what
that's
answer that I
awesome
get a
and
lot is the quarter pounder. I get that all the time.
Oh yeah, it's funny. Yeah, they say the quarter pounder, but I mean, I like Wendy's and Burger King better for burgers. You know, what I mean, I only go for McDonald's for their fries and like chicken.
Or
even though I
apple
like Wendy's. Yeah, whatever. I don't really eat. I don't really eat.
You don't eat that anymore. Which you're down 10 pounds, aren't you?
Hey man, I'm going harder. Yeah, man, working out, going harder this year. Hopefully, to get healthier and be more, have more stamina. You know, so yeah.
Started off the year with the bang. George, how can people reach you to talk about Broncos hiring of Eric Fangio?
Don't reach me because I don't know anything about that. But I just I mean, really just email, man. I don't have any social media, at least not yet. I just don't have time for that, really, man. But yeah,
what is your email?
Just eternal 41288 at gmail.com.
Well, there you go, guys. NFL Championship Weekend starts this weekend. I think it's one of the most exciting weekends. I think the wild card is one of the tops. The championship weekends up there. We're going to see a duel. I think both games are toss-ups. It's going to be hard to say. I would think the AFC is probably the closest one as far as we're having this conversation. You think?
Yeah, it's going to be the better matchup, I think.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. We'll be talking, and I don't know, we see the Saints destroy the Rams, and then KC destroys the Patriots, and you're like, what are we talking about here? But
that's the best part about football. There's parity, and that's what we could expect these next couple of days. But anyways, Eric, George, I really appreciate you coming back, and I hope to see you for the Super Bowl preview cast.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Definitely.
George, thanks for coming on to the Sportscast.
Yeah, thank you, man.